Hi, I'm Mike Lee with Team Horizon, and this is a Team Tech Tip. In this Team Tech Tip video, we're going to show you how to change the trim motion sensitivity to make it easier to fine-tune your aircraft in flight. We all have learned how to trim our aircraft to get them to fly straight and level, but as you get more time and experience under your belt, you'll most certainly start paying more attention to the fine trim control of the plane to get them to fly exactly the way you want them to. Now, in general, the more budget-minded radio transmitters will have trim switches that provide around 1 degree of motion for each click of the trim switch. That amount of motion is fine for trainer and sport aircraft, which are not critical to trim changes. But as the models become more precise in their capabilities, or for faster flying models, that 1 degree might be too much motion for that truly locked-in feeling for the plane. This is especially true for models which have full flying control surfaces or large oversized control surfaces such as 3D aerobatic aircraft. Fast flying models are very sensitive to their minor trim changes simply due to the speed they fly at. That would apply to racing aircraft and jets. So let's look at how to change trim control movement and how those changes on the transmitter work on the servo. Our radio this time is as usual the DX9 from Spectrum, and we're in the operational mode at this time. So now we're going to go into the function list by depressing the scroll switch once. We're in the functional list, and now we want to scroll down to almost the bottom where it says System Setup. Depress the scroll switch once. We're now faced with the RF section being disabled. We want to answer yes. And now we're in the System Setup. We want to scroll down to the Trim Setup. Depress the scroll switch once. Here we see the Trim Setup menu. All controls that have a trim on it are shown on the menu. The default value is 5. We're going to change the aileron only to a default value or a new value of 3. This makes the movement finer than 5. Scroll down to aileron and the value is 5. We're going to punch on that with the scroll switch and decrease it from 5 to 3. Depress the scroll switch once to set it, go back to list, or you can hit the back key, and we're back in the operational mode. Let's see how that affects us on the servo simulator. Okay, so this is our servo simulator that we've used in most all of our other videos to demonstrate motion. And as you can see at the trailing edge of the flight control surfaces, there's the aileron, there's the elevator right there. There's a dark line and they match each other, so you can see that these two flight control surfaces are even with each other. Now we're going to show you how those values on the trim motion affect the servo and how it affects the trim. So right now the aileron trim is set at a value of 3. This should be a finer value. So we're going to move the trim switch 10 clicks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you see that the aileron has moved up in the trim. Now let's see what happens, how much motion comes out of the elevator with the same number of clicks. It should catch up to it and pass it up. Let's find out. 2, 3, 4. Whoops, we're going the wrong direction. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And it did exactly as we predicted. With a value of 5, which is a coarser trim adjustment, it moved more for each click of the trim switch. Now let's move them back to where they were. And they're even up. Now we're going to change that aileron to a value of 8 and see what happens compared to the default value of 5 with the elevator. This is going to be done off camera, so we don't have to waste any time. We're going to the System Setup right now, disabling the RF, going into the Trim Setup right now. We're there. We're going to go to the aileron, change the value from 3 on up to 8. And let's go back into the mode, operational mode, and here we are now. And so now let's move that aileron trim a value of 10 clicks. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. If I'm right, that elevator trim will not catch up to the aileron trim with a value of 5 versus 8. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whoops. 1, 2, 3, 4. Let's back to center. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And you see the aileron is higher than the elevator, and that shows you the value 9 gives you a coarser trim than the value of 3. So if you want a finer flying aircraft with finer trim control, use a lower number. Being able to set up the trim motion may not mean a lot to you if you're just getting into the sport, but as you grow and progress into nicer and more sophisticated models, you will find the need to fine-tune the way your models fly. And the DX9 is going to help you accomplish that goal quickly and easily. I hope you learned a little bit with us and enjoyed the tech tip video as we help you to enjoy your hobby. I'm Mike Lee with Team Horizon, and you just got a Team Tech Tip. Thanks for watching.